Single detachable roof aerial on a Skoda Fabia MK1 99 to 2007. There's a few different aerials for the Fabia depending on whether you've got radio, telephone or navigation fitted. This one is a single radio aerial, but importantly the fitting and removal is essentially the same. My aerial is looking decidedly tatty and corroded on the removable antenna and also around the rubber base. The top part of the antenna is quite flexible and removes by turning anti-clockwise, with this one being a standard M5 thread. Looking at the base, we can see the rubber seal has started to perish, being so exposed to the elements. So I'm going to replace it before it leaks and damages the interior. First thing you want to do is take out the central plastic roof panel, which is held in place by 5 metal panel clips. Here's the panel. And it makes it a little bit easier if you release the seal to the boot hatch. And when you bend it down slightly, you can just see the first clip mount. Place a large flat-bladed screwdriver up against the shoulder of the clip and gently but firmly ease it away from the body. These clips are quite firm and have a tendency to spring out of the plastic mouldings. Release all the clips. If the clips do come out, it's fairly straightforward to retrieve them and just reinsert them back into the panels. Here's the panel. Next thing is to remove the C-pillar panel. Firstly, removing the seatbelt deflection mount. Take off the cap, removing the bottom part first. Usually you can push these clips from the back, but you can't get to do that on the rear ones. So you can either get a hook tool underneath or simply prise it off from the bottom corner first with a non-marking tool or even your thumb, as in this case. Take off the seatbelt mount using a 17mm hex socket and wrench. Move the seat forward. Pull away the side felt lining, and you want to be removing the 3 Phillips screws which hold the speaker shelf to the body. And it's best to use a magnetic tipped screwdriver, especially on the farthest screw, as it's quite hard to retrieve. Now you want to be releasing the rear door seal by firstly lifting forward this lower inner door trim. There's a simple little catch at the top, and I found you could push down and release that and manage to lift it away from the seam slightly. This button plug just comes off by itself and it'll just push back into place when you refit it. Pull the speaker shelf away slightly so you can get the seal out. Which should now give you access to get to the clips on the C-panel plastic trim. Slowly undo all the clips from the top down, easing the panel away from the body. And I had to undo the adjoining panel clip and release it. Once you've released all the clips, you should be able to pull the panel away just enough, being supported by the seatbelt reel to lower the head lining down, but only after you've taken out the rear hand grips on the roof lining. Pull the remaining part of the door trim right back to the B pillar. To remove the handles, there's two Phillips screws hidden behind two little neat doors that hinge down to reveal the screw heads. Hinge open the little doors with the tip of your nail or a little screwdriver. Take the handle off and then turn to the other side of the car and repeat the same on that side of the car. When you've managed to move both panels away from the car body, you can actually detach the speaker shelf from the C panel itself by nipping together the two catches from the rear, something you can only do from the front with a special tool. You can just slip the roof lining that's held in the centre out from the little plastic stud without the need to take it out. Be very careful not to touch the surface of the roof lining, as these mark very easily. And be also careful not to bend the roof lining down too far and crease it. Just be quite gentle and you'll be fine. Once both sides are off, you'll be able to drop down the roof lining, giving enough clearance to gain access to the rear of the roof aerial. Pull back the foam connection protector and disconnect the lead. You need to put your thumb and forefinger on the female end attached to the car and pull back on the protected sprung sheath and pull out the male end with your other hand. Find a suitable ring spanner or socket for the aerial nut, which is 22mm, and you can actually get a socket and wrench in here. I'll leave that one to you guys. Try not to lose the nut in the head lining and take the cable and aerial out of the little hole in the roof. Here's the single aerial electronic base unit for the Fabia and corresponding nut and grippy washer. There's a slot in the washer that fits over the aerial cable that neatly protrudes from the side of the threads of the base unit, with the nut rotating independently from this, which is quite a nifty little design really. There's a main base unit seal that cups over the base, and an important second seal around the base of the threads, which is a stretched O-ring, and importantly fits just on the edge of the hole in the roof. Now you may want to replace the complete aerial, which is probably the best thing to do, but as mine's working perfectly, I'm just going to attempt to renew these seals. Just take the O-ring off with a sharp pointed tool. Here's the new seal I'm going to fit. Clean the external paintwork around the hole. Use cutting or polishing compound if you have to. Then finish off cleaning it with isopropyl alcohol, as well as the seals on the unit itself. Refit the aerial back into the hole by holding it at a slight angle towards the rear. Align the nut and washer correctly. And hand tighten. Then if you can fit your torque wrench in, tighten to the correct torque, or your preferred torque, making sure there's no leak. Push the cable back in until it clicks. And slide back the foam protector into its original position. Gently refit the roof lining by sliding it back into the centre stud. Refit the handles. Detach the speaker shelf, replace the C-pillar panel, making sure that all the clips are in place before you align it up with the aligning peg and the adjacent lower side boot panel. and I found you had to put the top clip in almost first because it seemed to be a bit of a tight fit otherwise. Just make sure all the clips are aligned before you push them home over each clip. Once the C-pillar panel's in place, replace the top half of the door seam and replace the speaker shelf by passing the locking tabs into the pillar panel, aligning it into position with the end piece hooking over the door seal, which I actually forgot to do first here, but managed to squeeze it in past the hook before I screwed home the speaker shelf to the body. While I was here, I pushed the lower door sill trim back into place and replaced the little button plug. The panel just pushes down from the top clip. Replace the seatbelt deflection anchorage point and re-tighten to the correct torque. Replace the plastic cap by hooking over the top and pushing down at the bottom. Replace all the screws in the speaker shelf. And replace the felt wheel arch boot liner. Now all you've got to do now is replace the top roof trim. By aligning the center aligning pin, align all the clips, and when you're happy they're all in the right place, push up on each clip and they'll click back into place. Don't forget to put the rubber seal round so it seats over the panel itself. And the job's done. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.